YouTube is the trash can for my art career. Normally, I start my videos up by saying, I'm Keith, and welcome to my art studio. This is some of my art right here. My battle rhino, my green dragon. I'm going to run some paintings right here so you can see them. But this video basically is me venting about the status of art, AI, all that stuff, you know. Because back in the day, I spent years and years and lots of money going to art school so I could have a career in art. Thousands and thousands of dollars I spent at the university so I could be a working artist. I'm not a working artist. I'm a registered nurse because that's how I pay my bills. But don't get me wrong, being a nurse, it's a great career. I was just anybody going to healthcare. If you're a high school student and you want a career, go into medicine. Do not go into art, especially now with AI, forget it. But anyway, I've been on this channel. I created this channel 3 years ago. Today, I created my 402nd video. I have 402 subscribers. That's kind of an odd coincidence. But most of my videos, on average, get less than 25 views. And I don't know why. I can't figure it out. Maybe it's because I go on YouTube and I complain too much. But I've done lots and lots of tutorials. You know, maybe people just don't care anymore. With AI, you don't need artists. That is sad to say. I think the world will always need artists. I mean, I'm a writer, a musician. I do all that stuff. It's just part of my right-brained life. So I can't figure out why I get so little views. I'm guessing it's probably because of my subject matter, because I do all this sci-fi fantasy stuff. And I think I probably scare people away. You know, I'm not going to learn art from this guy. He's nuts. He makes rhinos and dinosaurs and monsters and stuff. You know what? The techniques that I use to make this stuff, I learned at the university. And from years and years and years of practice, you could use this stuff on anything you do. If your thing is puppy dogs, still lives, if you like doing pictures of trees, clouds, whatever you want to do, the stuff I do will translate very well for that. But you know, if you're afraid you might, you know, get a cool idea like this, or ruin your ideas, or ruin what you're doing, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I think this stuff is pretty dang cool. I mean, I put a goggle on my battle rhino. That's a special technique on how to do that, and you're not going to learn that from Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. I watched Bob Ross as a kid. I learned tons of stuff. I was 11 years old. I didn't own any paints, but I watched anyway, and I used a lot of his techniques in my life. I still think it's a great teaching tool for basic painting skills. I dig into some advanced stuff. I do some stuff I learned at the university, like the underpainting technique, highlights, shadows, how to do composition. Composition matters tons. I do photography, and that crosses over completely. I can't figure out why my views are so low, but I'm going to keep going. YouTube is the garbage can for my art career, because I used to be in a gallery. I was in a gallery for 18 months in Lincoln, Nebraska, and most of the artwork that was there looked nothing like mine, nothing at all. I mean, I would have went head to head on technique. I mean, I could have taught those people tons of stuff on how to paint. I saw some pretty awful, horrible elementary school garbage there. But, you know, people were just scared to death that my stuff was not anything they'd put on their kitchen walls. If it didn't match their carpet in the living room, they would never put this in their bedroom, even though my bedroom was full of this stuff. I'm a kid of the 80s, the heavy metal magazine, the heavy metal cartoon, all that stuff, the Frank Frazetta type stuff, that's where I'm at. And Frank Frazetta is one of the best painters out there. And you probably are thinking, who the heck is Frank Frazetta? Well, look him up. He did all the Conan covers on those books back in the 70s. Fantastic oil painter and cartoonist. You know, if you can get past this stuff, you know, and you can learn just gads from me. Learn the underpainting, the ink wash, the watercolor, the acrylic stuff, you know. I sound like I'm mad and I'm venting, and I am, because I'll spend 4 or 5 hours on a video, put it all together, teach you tons of stuff, and I'll look at it a day later, it has 2 views. 2 views. Now I realize there's 138 million YouTube channels out there? I looked it up, and it's true. And most YouTubers are lucky to get 1,000 views. I think it's less than 10%. And you need 1,000 to be monetized. I would love to be monetized, but it's not going to happen. And I'm not going to change what I do. Back in the day, I thought, I'm going to try something. I'm going to do some stuff that people will just love. I did pictures of goats, chickens, parrots, the trees, all that stuff, frogs, thinking, maybe it is my content. But those videos went nowhere either. I couldn't figure it out. Maybe the problem is, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Maybe I said, maybe I'm not very good. I encourage you to go back to my playlist and look, and you tell me in the comments if you think I'm any good at this, because maybe I'm just fooling myself. I can tell you, YouTube is one place that will just put your ambitions in the dumps. It makes you think you suck. It makes you think you're terrible because, you put your best work out and it goes nowhere. And I watch a lot of YouTube creators, and they all say the same thing. It's not just me. There's thousands of people just like me who put this stuff out and it goes nowhere. And YouTube is huge, huge. Maybe the problem is it's too huge. Maybe it's too saturated. I look at the art tutorial section, and there are people out there who are getting zillions and zillions of views. So I know it's not that they're not out there. They're just not finding me. And I don't know why they're not finding me. I can't figure it out. I subscribe to vidIQ. I do all the right thumbnails. I do the right titles. All that stuff. It's still 2, 3, 4. I would say the bulk of my videos get less than 50 views. The bulk. The most I've ever got, probably maybe 200, and that was a rarity. So I've watched a couple videos just recently of YouTubers talking about how much trouble they've had with their channels, and it took them years and years and years to get anywhere. And I think there's probably more and more and more people who don't get anywhere. But you know what? I'm going to keep continuing to make this stuff and stick it online, because someday this stuff's going to outlive me. It's definitely going to outlive me, and this stuff will eventually get some views. I'll probably be, pushing up daisies when it happens, which is sad to say, but I'm not going to stop, because I'm not going to go back to the gallery again, because I was paying a fee for wall space, and I don't think a true gallery you pay for wall space. It was so after 18 months, I said, no more of this. I'm not going to pay you guys to put my stuff up there and get ignored. I got 0 bites on any of my stuff. It makes sense to me, because the stuff next to mine was a picture of a horse and a pig and a really horrible looking landscape and some more horrible looking this and horrible looking that. And I think a lot of artists could benefit from some tutorial stuff. I mean, I was going to be an art teacher. I spent 4 years at the University of Nebraska at Kearney to be an art teacher, to teach people. I was a student in the class where the teacher would walk around, pick up my artwork, and show it to the other kids and say, do what he's doing, because he's doing it right. You guys need to learn from him. The guy offered me a scholarship over that. I remember that. That was 30 years ago. And I couldn't pick it up because I didn't have a B average overall, so I didn't get the scholarship. Anyway, so I went to art school. I enjoyed it. It was the best time of my life. I met my wife there. I met lots of great people. I think college is fantastic for most people. But realistically, especially now with AI, this is the part of the story where I'm going to bitch about AI. Art had a 0 chance, even when I was back there in 93, 0 chance. I knew I was never going to get a job as an artist, but at the time I had to get out of school, I had to get out of the house, I had to do something. So I knew my chances were pretty low, but now here it is, 2025, and with AI, forget it. Anybody who's going to hire somebody to do this stuff is going to hire AI, and I think AI art looks horrible. It looks plastic. It looks terrible. It's unimaginative. It's just hideous. And I hope to God there's still people out there who think that art matters, and that people who study the greats and know about lighting, composition, and color, and all that stuff, and how it matters. Especially like the kids who do the anime stuff and the comic book stuff. That stuff matters. It really does matter. It matters to me. It matters to me. It matters to me that my YouTube has turned into the garbage can for my art career. It really has. I mean, everything I do goes on YouTube. 402 works of art on YouTube. I used to do these here on canvas until I had so many of them I couldn't think anymore. So I turned to doing it on paper. I filled up 2 of these notebooks. I'm going on my 3rd one now. And these things are not easy. They're not fast. They're a lot of work. You know, I could just quit. I could just quit and go do something else. I probably should, but I've always been an artist. I've always been a musician. I've always been a writer, and I can't not do this stuff. I'm right-brained. I'm just driven to do it, and it's what makes me what I am, you know. And I find that the current state of art pretty sad, very sad. There's a few creators out there who do okay, but I think there's probably a lot of kids out there. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is it's all kids. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, because my artwork stems from when I was 15 years old. I still do the same kind of stuff I did back then. It's not that I didn't mature. I think my style and my knowledge is much, much, much better than it was back in those days. And some of the techniques I use in here is very advanced painting, very advanced drawing techniques that I just stick with my 15-year-old self. So, you know, maybe I should just quit bitching. YouTube is the garbage can for my art career. So if you've been here long enough, I don't know what to tell you. If you're a creator and you're into the art field, maybe you can do it better than I did it. Maybe you have a better way of doing it and have a better personality. You know more than I do. I just can't figure it out. I don't know what it is. But after 400 and whatnot videos, I think that my subscriber base should be much higher than it is. I can't complain. I have 402, and compared to what I've read, that's not horrible, but I would rather have it be 4,002. You know what I'm saying? I really would. I think I have something to say. I think I have something to show. I think I have something to teach right here. And, you know, subscribe if you have a chance. Please subscribe. You probably haven't made it this far in the video. We're 12 minutes into it. So if you made it this far, please subscribe. Go back and look at my work and share it. And if you need to learn something, I'm sure I covered it somewhere over this last 3 years. So in conclusion, thanks for being here, and thanks for supporting me if you do.